Yeah. I hope you're all doing well. It's Sunday morning, and the paper. I was just looking over the Sunday papers online. The Irish Times and the Irish Independent are psychotic. Even more so. There must have been extra checks written by the Clinton Foundation and Sources Open Society. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. Well, getting over the Rona, apart from me having superpowers, because I'm naturally vaccinated now. Um, it presents a dilemma, doesn't it? I now have to go back and engage with the public, So we're back to this bullshit again of going back to. I was just thinking about that, now, this morning because I have to go out and get milk and eggs and shit like that. So I have to go back and engage with the public. So, what can you do about it, really? Technically there are ways out of it. But I don't know. The great unwash have never been more deranged than they are now. Well, I could use that as an excuse. But I go into Lidl and the woman goes, "Hey, you, where's your fucking mask?" No, she was a Polish lady. "You, where's your mask?" And I go, I'm I'm not right in the head. I can't wear it. I'll go like Dustin Hoffman and Rain Man. I don't believe that. How do you prove you have a mental disability? Mumford and Sons CD. Oh, okay, go ahead. Well, yeah, Mumford and Sons. Fucking hell. See, some record producer had took these guys. I'm sure they were nice guys and everything, and rebranded them as a hipster sea shanty band. Hipster sea shanties. I couldn't. The first time I ever heard of Mumford and Sons, I was up with those lovely people at New Horizons and doing an event up there in near Blackpool, St Anne's, I think it's called. And a woman said, we're talking about music, and a woman said to me, "Do you like Mumford and Sons?" What? "Do you like Mumford and Sons?" I didn't know what it was. But I've always been like that. I don't know what music is anyway, other than the music I am into. I love it. But other than that, I don't pay any attention to any other music because there's something catches my ear and I'm into it. But other than that, I block out everything. I don't even like. I'm probably, if I was on one of those pop music shows, I'd be the worst ever contestant because I'd only know about the bands and stuff I like. I wouldn't know about anyone else. Like, I can remember when I was younger, I thought Crosby, Stills and Nash was a law firm. You'll be hearing from my legal team at Crosby, Stills and Nash. I just have a fucking clue. Like, Emerson, Lake and Palmer as well. My legal team, Gallagher and Lyle. All these bands that had names like legal firms. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Gallagher and Lyle. Oh, Jesus, when I think about it. The Mumford and Sons. Do you like Mumford and Sons? I don't have a tax accountant. Mumford and Sons sea shanties, 40 days at sea and we've run out of soy. Hipster shanties, yeah. What shall we do with the vegan burger? What shall we do with the vegan burger? What shall we do with the vegan burger? It's not fair trade or organic, ridiculous, I mean, whoever thought that one up came up with that one. It's just, and they were quite successful. Well, they were pushed a lot by the media because the record companies and his music scene was looking for something new. I'm sure, like, the nice fellas and everything, but no, no offense, but your music was crap. Oh God, no, Jesus, Mumford and Sons, yeah, it's. But yeah, I have to go. I have to go out and face the. I have to go with Brennan Rain Man. See my Muse T-shirt. That proves I'm mentally deficient. But I have to go out and do that. Yeah. But the worst part of all is not so much the mask and stuff. It's dealing with the meat golems. You do social distancing. That's why I don't have a problem with abortion being legal. Just fucking anything to prevent a future generation of these cunts. It's fine in my book. But in Ireland we have on-demand abortion here, and I'm like, it's highly unethical. And I look around at the fuckers there in the shopping centres, and I'm like, well, I don't know about that. It's amazing how, it's true what people say that, like, they suddenly Ireland became ultra liberal overnight. Did you know in Ireland that Up until up until the it's funny thinking about it now, but it was true. Up until the early mid 90s, if you needed condoms, you had to go to a doctor and get a prescription. You had to if you wanted to buy condoms, you had to get a prescription from a doctor. So I'm serious, you had to do it until about like 93, 94, I think it was. And so you just and I could only imagine like the conversations in the doctor's office. Like you could just there'd be fellas complain, Mary and Paddy. Paddy, are you gonna fuck me tonight? Oh Jesus, Mary, 14 fucking kids already. I want to ride. I want to ride myself, but with 14 fucking kids, I can't risk it anymore. I can't fucking 15 will be the one the straw that broke the camel's back. Sorry, Paddy. It was number 7 that broke the straw. The straw that broke the camel's back. But it's like, I'll go to Dr. Mcginty and see about getting rubber johnnies. And he goes down to Dr. Mcginty. They're all pretend they have back pains. It's all these men who are desperate to get laid but can't afford another kid, all pretending they're sick in Dr. Mcginty's office. Oh, Jesus, me fucking back is killing me, Dr. Mcginty examines his back, and he goes, I can't find anything wrong with you, Paddy. Oh, okay, that's good. It's better safe than sorry. Sure, anything else I could do for you? Well, What, Paddy? Fucking rubber yolks you put on your knob to stop having kids. Condoms, yeah. You don't have a few to spare, do you? And he goes, yeah, I can give them to you. But I need a medical reason. I need a medical reason to use a condom. Well, me and Mary, we've 14 kids already, and number 15, if she squirts out number 15, we'll be on the breadline. Fucking Paddy, if Mary's had 14 kids, she won't be squirting out number 15. That's for fucking sure. He'd be coming out in a fucking limo in the back seat of fucking Liberace's diamond encrusted Rolls Royce, young Seamus, as the beef curtains open. No, Mary won't be. It's a long time since Mary stopped squirting back at number 10. But that's how they used to fucking get condoms in this country. It's hilarious when you think about it. I can actually remember the first time I bought condoms over the counter, like as a consumer. It was in Birmingham while they were still doctor's prescription only in Ireland. I swanted into Boots in the Bull Ring in Birmingham. Aha! I'm here to buy prophylactics. It was like Errol Flynn swashbuckling in. Aha! It was like that. What's his name? Yeah. Apocrypha, furnish me with your finest prophylactics. Aha! You've only got Jurix. Well, give me bring forth these legendary Jurix. And then the fatal question. What size? I wasn't wondering for that one. And he goes, what size you want? And I go, well, what sizes do you have? Well, there's extra large, medium, small. Yeah, no, that's what it was like. Yes, that's what it was like. When I got the condom and opened the package and took the condom out, it was like the golden ticket in fucking Willy Wonka. Oh, so the legends are true. Now I can have intercourse with absolutely no feeling or sensation in my willy. Anyway, I mean that's. At the time, that's an important lesson for today. That one day we will look back on these days and laugh at the absurdity of them. Just like, when the whole condom thing was going in Ireland, there was all these people who were terribly concerned about. Well, it's part of a liberal society. We've got to become more liberal. I always focus on these fucking dour Northern Ireland accents, But it was like, we've got to become more liberal and embrace change and have freely available contraception, break from the church, and they're all terribly depressed. And they had a rubber Johnny train that used to go from Dublin to Belfast, where all the feminists would be on it going up to Belfast to buy condoms and boots. I don't know why no one would have fucked them. They were all so ugly, but we had these condom trains, right? And it was, I mean, to me, it was a laugh at the time, just like this is a laugh, and there's an important lesson in this with the lockdowns and everything and all the bullshit we're dealing with. One day we'll be, just like I'm laughing at the absurdity of it all now, people will be saying, what did you have to do to get out of wearing a mask, What did you have to do to pretend you were vaccinated? This kind of shit. What did you, this is what it'll be like. We'll be looking back on it and laughing. So that's why you shouldn't get depressed about any of these things. This is great material for comedy and art and music and all kinds of things, Not Mumford and Sons though. But what will we do with the maskless, man? Maskless danger. What do we do with the maskless danger? But yeah, so yeah, that's how we look at it. It's very easy. If you see the mainstream at the moment, they're very obsessed with keeping us as rattled as possible. They've always done that. They've always been about, and like I've been remembering when the world wasn't to remind myself of when the world wasn't mentally ill. I've been watching old episodes of Top of the Pops from the 80s and 90s, and they were all filmed at the height of things like the Thatcher's miners' strike and Wyndham Common and the perishing nuclear missile crisis, and every fucking scientist on the fucking television every 5 minutes going, the doomsday clock has moved forward by 1 second. The same cunts you see today with the climate change is a devastating impact upon the future. Pandemics are now a part of life. They back then it was the doomsday clock was 1 minute to midnight. They moved it forward. This kind of thing. There's something to scare the fucking shite out of you. It's always been about scaring the shite out of you. That's how they stay in business. Their crisis management. It's like they create a crisis and then they fix it. Well, it wasn't no fucking crisis to begin with. And that's what you're seeing today, isn't it? Like the whole thing. But I watched those Top of the Pops, and in the middle of all this shit that was going on, like IRA bombing England, the fucking miners' strike, and the Greenham Common nuclear protest, and all of the stuff that was going on then, you see people loving and dancing and enjoying life. They made the most of it. So, and if you were to ask a journalist, what do you remember about the 80s? Oh, it was horrible. The doomsday clock was 1 minute to midnight. And you ask the ordinary person, what do you remember about the 80s? Dancing on the beach to Frankie Goes to Hollywood. It was beautiful. You see, so this is why you don't listen to these fuckers, you don't listen to them. Yeah, I mean, John Waters is right, about Catholic Ireland. There was a lot of beautiful things about it. I didn't particularly like it in my age group and my demographic. Being working class in Ballymun, it wasn't very pleasant in the 80s in Ireland, although we were kind of like an anarchist community, so we were kind of outside society. But, I didn't particularly care for that stuff. I've been a pagan since I was a little kid, and I was quite anti-church. Well, I still am anti-church. I'm not anti-Christians or Catholic people, and the Catholic Church in Ireland has shown its true colours, as John Waters constantly points out, with their behaviour over the whole Rona thing. They all ran up to support an Eid ceremony in Croke Park by what they told the police to go after Catholic pilgrims at Croke Patrick. That's what they're like now. They're scum, and their scum nature has been compounded by the whole mother and baby home scandal. That's regardless of what the particulars are of how many are buried or not in the septic tank. There were still places from hell, and yeah. So that's what they remember, but we remember the good times. I remember thinking the most Catholic thing I've ever seen in my life was Madonna on Top of the Pops. With the crucifix, she was wearing and also all during that period, she was fucking genius back then, in image wise. dressing in skimpy outfits, like bustiers and short skirts, and a cleave and these tons of crucifixes and holy medals around her neck on chains. She understood the archetypal power of Catholicism very, very well and used it very, very well, I have to say. I think one of the things to Madonna's success was the fact that she was Italian American and she understood being a Catholic very, very well. That being Catholic is as sexy as it is sort of like forbidden. There's a real sexuality about Catholicism that you don't find in the other Christian religions. And hence, Mary with her, her drive-through beef curtains. But, that's true. That's true. And she understood that very well. Very, very well. When you see her, like, look at those pictures of her back then, looking like kind of like a cross between a new romantic and a goth chick with half naked with the crucifixes on chains all around her. Clever, brilliant, genius. She's a genius, no doubt about that. But the we have to look back on these times the same way. Now I forget what I was going to. You see, I started out. I came here with a subject to talk about, and I've gone through Mumford and Sons. Is transitioning on the SS transgender going around Cape Horn on vegan sea biscuits to Liberace's diamond encrusted limo to buying condoms back in the 80s. And I forget what I was going to talk about. Oh yeah, I know what I was going to talk about. This is me. I know. You'll never get a straight answer on it. It's just a fucking. I mean, I've had people I've worked with telling me to shut the fuck up because they just were laughing all day long. I mean, I had people in jobs who would say to me, "Tell me shut the fuck up." All I do all day was laughing, just the way your observations about life, and so YouTube in their fucking fatal infamy gave me the ability to stream live how I am in my daily life into the fucking world, and now you're all fucked. But yeah. So yeah. Oh, what I was going to talk about is serious mode, if that's possible, right? The thing on the Capitol in America, DC, that fiasco that took place, and that woman was shot dead. And some of the people died in crushes, and it was just an awful mess. That was definitely planned by the deep state. I've no doubt about it, to damage Trump's reputation, because we've been hearing for 4 years that Trump was a racist. You go to the average person, Trump's a racist. He's racist. He's fucking racist. You go, give me an example, specifics now, a specific example, and bear in mind that he has thousands of black people working for him and people of other races, how Trump is a racist. He's just a racist. And after a while that stopped because there was no proof that he was a racist, because he isn't a racist. And that blew up in their faces when, after calling him a racist for 4 years, he gets more black voters voting for a Republican president, more African American voters than had happened in 50 odd years in the United States presidential elections. So that was like that rattled them. That was even worse than losing the election to them. And he also increased his vote among women as well. This was worse. He's sexist. He hates women. Why does he hate women? Because he fucking rides them. He's always riding good-looking women. What's wrong with riding good-looking women? Well, nothing. So how does that make him sexist? Because he's not me. Like that kind of thing. Jealousy again. Envy and jealousy really is the toxic sludge that lubes the gears of pathology in so many ways. Jealousy and envy, and it's like it's a rampant disease in the human psyche. And if you're on the end of it, you can see how toxic and pathetic it actually is. But unfortunately, it's very common in society. And so anyway, this thing with Trump again. So it was coming to an end of his end of days as president, and they're all shitting bricks that he was going to release dirt on them, I don't think he ever was going to release dirt on them, because it's better to make them sweat than to give them what, it's better. The art of war thing again, the art of the deal. It's better to have them sweat than to know to have information upon you. And so he just may have not had anything on them, but he was quite happy to let the rumors go out there through his networks that he had dirt on all of them, and he was going to release it. So a combination of them fearful that he would open the books on their dirty dealings, the U.S. Political mains, the deep state, coupled with extreme things like arresting George Bush Jr. for war crimes for Gulf War II. To small things like showing things that might challenge Barack Obama's sainthood, beatification, that they had a vested interest in causing as much chaos at the end as possible. And so a combination of that, and also it finally gave them something bad they could actually pin on him. Even though Trump unequivocally said, do not cause any trouble. And when the rioting was going on, he was the one who said, this is disgraceful, stop it. That wasn't enough. They were going to make him guilty of it somehow, because then they could say they had a lie. I mean, it really is a Middle Ages witch hunt to do it. It's obvious that they were a bunch of paid spooks who went in there, and behaved like that. You don't. If that was a real revolution, they would have guns and stuff. They didn't have guns. They wouldn't stand a chance. They'd be taken out in a second. And this is what this was really about. They were trying to make out that Trump was some kind of pirate. He was piratical in a sense that he was challenging the orthodoxy of the deep state, and that's how they had. I mean, it's quite remarkable what has been done to that man, and he's done nothing. That's the whole point. And today in the Irish newspapers, you have. And then they further compounded his guilt by throwing him offline. The tech companies, in collusion with the deep state, throwing him offline. That's another thing. So the thing was, he's guilty, and if you say it enough, the average moron will believe it just because they believe that masks protect them from a pandemic. And professors playing the guitar in Ireland is someone we should all follow, unequivocally. And that was all about. It was just to put a black mark they could actually show videos of in future that he did this. He didn't do it. That's the irony of it. They had to in the end, in order to indict Trump, they had to actually commit the crime themselves and blame it on him. And that's the Biden presidency that's coming in. And this one behind him, Harris, who gives me the creeps. She's like Nicola Sturgeon on steroids. And she will be directly answerable to the Clinton Foundation if, Alphabet Spaghetti Joe drops it. And, goes tits up. Because that's what and she has this, you can see the kind of viciousness in her, Now, I was talking to some friends there this morning about all these, and it's not just in America, it's all over Europe too, these young upper middle class types who all want communism. And they're sitting in Starbucks, in their designer fashions, and they're mocking people who lived through Ceausescu's Romania and saying, oh, you're just being dramatic, it wasn't that bad. No, it was actually worse. I mean, I remember we went on a school trip to Germany when I was in school, and they took us to Berlin, and we stood on the Berlin Wall and looked over, doing this to the East German troops. I was like this, and eating the bags of McDonald's in front of them, and school teachers going mad. You're a disgrace to Ireland. You're a disgrace to Ireland. Behaving like this in a foreign country. Show some respect. Cheeseburger. but I was like that. You could see, and we came from a shithole in Dublin, and the worst neighbourhood in Ireland actually, and we felt positively middle class next to middle class people in Eastern Germany, in Eastern Berlin. I felt sorry. Actually, after a while, we felt sorry for them. We were like, "Geez, communism is shit." That's what we came away with. It was like, communism is shit. And then when the Berlin Wall came down, and all these people from Ireland was flooded with them, and they're great people to have too. And that's why Polish people. I mean, this whole thing. This is why the Polish people and the Hungarian people are rejecting globalization, because they know it's communism again. They know it's the old Bolsheviks again coming in with a rainbow flag instead of a red one. But they know it's the same people, and the same thing is coming. And the globalists are making pariah states out of Poland and Hungary, and they're turning them into kind of like what South Africa was during apartheid. But apartheid, that was justified because apartheid was absolutely disgraceful. So they turned South Africa into a pariah state, and eventually, quite rightly, apartheid ended and South Africa became a democracy, a proper democracy, and they're desperate to try and make pariah states now out of Poland and Hungary and Belarus. And if I was Poland, Hungary, or Belarus, I would, rather than give in, I would I would play harder. Like, if I was the Polish government right now, I'd be looking at all these alt tech companies, and I would say to them, how would you like to set up in Poland? We'll control the servers. The servers aren't controlled by, the communists in the West, the new communists, the cultural Marxists. And you can set up all these companies like BitChute should all be going there. MeWe and all the old Telegram should all be going to Gab. All should be going to Eastern Europe to use servers there. And because that would be, and then set up an alternative internet. And that's that. So if I was the boss, the prime minister of Poland, I'd be wooing all tech into the country to make the country the Silicon Valley of all tech, because that's the future. That's why I said yesterday. Zuckerberg dreads the thought of being a MySpace, which he's doomed to be. It's almost like mythological. It's doomed to be. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say today. I'm sorry I got sidetracked with that meandering discourse at the front. But yeah, that's, well, no, I'm not actually, because that's what I'm trying to say ultimately with all these videos since day one, is that one day you will look back on this and laugh at it, and you'll be glad you escaped it. And all you remember is the good times. You remember the people who put a smile on your face when it was all going on, and the people who made you forget when the media fear porn, both alternative media and mainstream media, fear porn was at its worst. You'll remember the people who made you laugh or help to get you through it, and you'll remember that, and you'll remember the music you were listening to at the time, or or movies that you watched at the time when it was all going down, and your memories will be happy cultural memories, not miserable political memories that journalists get themselves involved in. So take care, love yous all, and fuck them if they can't take a joke. What shall we do with the drunken? What shall we do with the vegan burger? What shall we do with the vegan burger? What shall we do with the vegan burger? It's not fair trade or organic. See yous.